All right. Hopefully everything's working fine. Hello, everyone. So, yeah, I got a bit of news, both exciting and disappointing. I'll get to that later, though. But I guess first things first, I should start out with the exciting news because I am excited for this. I finally saved up enough to get upgrade my system and get a drawing tablet. I had been working toward this for quite a while, like since last year. Not necessarily towards getting this particular drawing tablet, but I was looking towards upgrading, and finally the chance came around, and I finally got that option, and now I've tested it out, and actually it works very beautifully. I'm loving it. Hopefully later in the future I can actually manage to set up live streaming on that, so that later in the future when I decide to make drawing time lapses and whatnot, I won't have much of a problem. But yeah. So pretty much, yeah, that's it. But outside of that, so today we're gonna be playing Haven. Now, major question on the board, like, you know, like there probably is a question rolling around, essentially, like, you played through Sky Children of the Light, Gris, and Ori. Those are all games you've essentially beaten. Have you beaten Haven 2? Yes, I have. But there has been quite a bit of an update with this game. Primarily, they allow you to play the game with same-sex couples now. And I figured, why not try a new game on that? Why not? So yeah. And if you're wondering, no, I have not beaten Ni no Kuni. I've played through up to the point where you get to the king cat, the cat king or whatever. But that's about it. I kind of fell off with it. But yeah, and also, honestly, like, with the amount of people that, you know, that did participate with the polls and everything, whether or not it was on YouTube or Twitter, both polls came to a tie, so ultimately I just decided, fuck it, we'll go with Haven. July, I'll do Ni no Kuni. But this month, Haven. Mainly because Haven, compared to Ni no Kuni, I believe is a much more relatively shorter game. I should be able to get through Haven the most out of May. But whatever. Yeah, so pretty much I think that's about it. I'll get into the disappointing news in a bit. But I think first things first, I want to, like, more or less get accustomed and get comfortable with the game. Okay, hang on, there might be something wrong with the frame rate. Okay, that's better. Yeah. So, you can check, this only changes a couple you play as, but has no impact on the story gameplay. So pretty much, it's just really if you want to, and I like that. I mean, ultimately, I don't think this is going to majorly change anything different with this story or anything. Maybe some of the interactions will be different and whatnot, but overall, I think it's going to be the same game. But it's a good game regardless. I'm going to go with the girls. Even not choosing game, we recommend the story. However, you feel like you enjoy Haven form by making it easier, their difficulties. Now let's just go with default. I kind of like that. I noticed that. Depending on the couple you go for, whether it's same-sex or heterosexual, the artwork changes. That's a really nice touch.
What's that you got cooking?
Apple juice stew with apple juice.
Didn't we have that yesterday? Or the day before?
No. Yesterday it was baked apple dew with apple juice, and the day before it was fried apple juice.
With apple dews. I remember now.
Sorry, I'm doing what I can to switch up our meals. But in my defense, we have a pretty limited set of ingredients.
Hey, I wasn't complaining. I'm glad that you're doing the cooking. Otherwise I'd be eating, I guess, apple juice.
Oh, did you have a chance to look at the engine?
Yeah. It does seem like it took some damage upon landing. But I should be able to fix that real quick.
I also have some good news.
What's that?
I love you.
Yeah, for those who don't know what Haven is about, it's a very, it's a rather adult game.
Oh, with the lights off. Works for me.
No. I didn't do that. We must have run out of flow. Excuse me if I was working on the engine. I can't do everything.
No worries. I'll go get some more outside. If I'm lucky, I'll stumble upon something to spice up the apple juice.
I'll come with you.
So yeah, they're going to be, I do like that. They, the loading screens are altered to represent both the couples. But yeah, this, to those who have not heard about Haven, Haven is it's not necessarily a traditional JRPG, but it is a JRPG mixed more with a dating sim. And hang on. Let's see here. No. I could have sworn there was a... Yeah, I could have sworn there was, like, something I could do to... I could have sworn there was, like, option where it's, like, I could control how far or close the camera is. This is a little... Okay, that's a little...
Over there, a flow thread.
But to those who don't know what Haven is about, it is a
Perfect.
not so traditional
Although it seems like one thread
JRPG.
won't be enough. Whoops. Try again. Yes. Just
It's
like
a
that.
not so traditional JRPG mixed with a dating sim and more exploration.
How many more do you think we need?
I don't know. 3? Maybe 4?
Good thing there are plenty of flow threads around here.
There's actually an interesting comparison, I think, by the creator of this game, the creators of this game, where the intention behind Haven was to create a game where it seemed like it was taking elements of Journey and Persona and mixing them together. The reason why I say that's interesting is because it's kind of, in that regard, it is kind of similar to another particular game. And also one that was trying to incorporate elements from Persona.
Do you really think drifting is that useful?
It's crucial. It allows you to change
I have
direction
played,
without
and
just
I have
stopping
played
the time.
that and
Do I do
Haven.
that?
We all
And I
do
have
it.
to say, out of either one, I definitely say Haven is the more passionate project. And I could definitely see, like, and what's interesting about it is that even without being
One or
told
two
that
more
this
threads,
game
and we'll be all
is
set.
like it takes elements from Journey and Persona and combines them together, like it is good enough to be on its
All right,
own.
I'm all charged up.
Me too. We can go when you're ready.
Like the combat, the whole dating sim, like a lot of this is very much different compared to Persona, and the exploration is fairly different compared to Journey. Like you could tell there's like very much inspired elements from those games, but they're different and distinct enough to be their own thing. That's what I like about it. And on top of that, I can definitely tell that this game has a much better overall, a much better like story and characters compared to the other game that tried to do something similar with Persona. That other game that I played was Yandere Simulator. Now, I'm not gonna get into the whole stuff about the creator. I'm not gonna say shit like pretty much everyone else has said about it and whatnot. I just will say it. What I don't like about Yandere Simulator compared to other games, including Haven, is that I do not like. It's like, okay, there is a number of things, but I guess my one biggest concern is the fact of the idea of choice is non-existent. I've tried playing it, and what I mean by that is essentially like when I played Yandere Simulator, the game is supposed to essentially be like Hitman met Persona, but the thing about it is that it felt more like, instead of doing taking elements and taking elements of Hitman and Persona and incorporating them into both of them, it felt more like it was just kind of cut and paste. And on top of that, it felt more like only one option in the game. You know, only one option of gameplay in Yandere Simulator was the right option. And that's why I fucking hate. I hate when I hate when games that quote unquote give you try to give you the illusion of choice and like the ability to play how you want to play and whatnot, fucking deceive you, and that you only have one particular option of playing the game. Like in Hitman, you have different options in order to how to go about completing the mission. In Persona, like even in the combat of Persona, or even in the dating sim segment of Persona, you have that choice to, you have like choices at your fingertips. You don't have to do like all this other stuff. You don't have to establish social links. You don't have to fight every single shadow that comes your way.
It doesn't
like,
work if you warn me after you turn.
That's why I think those games. That's why I think those games are really good. It's like, yeah, you don't have to do it. You can if you want to, but you're not like. The game doesn't force you to do it. That's the thing. Like, unless it's like a tutorial, the game doesn't force you to play through like specific ways of playing. That's why that's why I ultimately like it.
We're not going anywhere.
So?
That's why I ultimately think I like a lot of these are definitely going to be, I think, redrawn artworks from the original game, but I still think it's very cute. But anyway,
All good. This should last us a few days.
in regards
Now it's our turn to fill up.
Huh?
like,
I'm hungry.
I think like ultimately when I heard about how this game was essentially like, it's Journey meets Persona, I could definitely see it. Like, the difference between why I like this game over Yandere Simulator in that regard is the idea of choice is evident here. Like, later in the game, like, I could choose to cook, or I could choose to do other stuff around here, or just chill, or just go to bed. Like, there's other stuff here that I'm capable of doing. Like, my gameplay is not necessarily going to look the same compared to what other people play. And I like that. Like, it makes me feel like my game. My gameplay is specifically my own.
Done. Roasted apple dews with apple dews.
I can't tell if you're actually excited about this, or if you just enjoy seeing me suffer.
How long do you think this is gonna last?
The flow? Well, if we keep our consumption in check, I think a few days.
No, I meant us. Us here. How long until they come get us?
Do we have to talk about this?
We are going to need to at some point. We need to be prepared. We need a plan.
I'm planning on finishing my plate without hearing about the apiary. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay.
And FYI, you are the one that ruined the mood, not me.
You?
All right, let's talk about it. Fine.
I was just gonna ask if you could switch off the light.
Oh,
You've been mulling it over this whole time?
of course I've been mulling it over this whole time. Thank you for adding one more thing to my mind.
Hold on. Are you telling me you hadn't thought about it before?
You know what? No, I hadn't thought about it. I'm trying not to think about the apiary. Enjoy what we have here, even if it isn't much. Do you really think that they can come get us here?
If we can take the flow bridge here, then so can they.
But there's no way they can know where we are. Is there? I cut off the autonav, the astrolock. Even the landing was all manual.
I'm just saying, let's prepare for the worst.
At worst, I kill them.
Whoa, you!
What? If that's what it takes not to go back, I'll do it. No problem. Kill them, steal their ship. By the time they send more guys, we'll be far away.
You're seriously not considering.
Maybe not. Maybe I am. At worst, we'll know.
You're scaring me.
Oh, come on. You're totally safe. You're my teddy bear.
I'm not sure how I should take this.
Well, take me in your arms for a start.
The interesting thing about this game, like I said before, the game described by the creators is that it's supposed to be Journey meets Persona. What I like about this game, in terms of like the dating sim elements, which I can definitely tell
You
are
aren't
somewhat
dressed yet?
inspired
I put on my pajamas.
I mean, to get out.
are definitely inspired by
Well,
Persona.
See, I was just wondering, do we have to get out? Can't we just hang in the nest for once? Lounge around, read a book, watch a movie?
We don't have movies.
Right, sure, but you know what I mean.
What I like about this game is that, okay, so the problem I have with games like Persona, or any dating sim for that matter, is that much of the conversations you have with romantic love interests and whatnot, just kind of build up to the point where then you establish that, yeah, now you're a couple. And from after that point, aside from like a handful of specific moments in games like Persona and any dating sim, it feels very much like it feels very much like it's just an objective and you have to do absolutely nothing else. You have the option to do other stuff, but and I think the biggest one of the bigger offenders of this is definitely Persona 5, because like that game encourages you to max out your social links and whatnot, and the problem with it is that like there are so many social links you have to max out and whatnot that if you try to go down that route, actually spending time with someone that you romanced in that game becomes like it's very minor events. It's very minor moments. It's very few moments at a time. Like they're like it's not. It doesn't really establish a good connection between the two characters, and that's what I don't really like about a lot of dating sims. Haven is different because the couple is already established from the get-go. These two are in love, and they have a good relationship. And the whole game is centered around just how strong their relationship is. And that's why I love about Haven, compared to games like Persona and AR Dating Sim, is that the relationship feels much more fleshed out because that's in the entire point of the story in the game.
Come on, the weather's great.
But the weather is always great.
For now. Who knows? Tomorrow could be the beginning of the long winter months. Could last for years. One more reason to stock up on apple juice.
What I also is that both
being
characters
right is not necessarily a good
both
quality.
have multiple choice
On the contrary,
options, that being
many
2
people
or
find
sometimes
it
even
very
3.
unappealing.
But
You?
Not sure.
but both characters are voiced. Both characters have voiced lines and already written dialogue. It kind of feels more like a Telltale's game in that regard, where it's like you have multiple choice options, and depending on the option you choose, there's already a particular planned out script for that particular option. The only difference is the whole Blank will remember this is not a part of this game. But yeah, it definitely feels more like...
Could we try and pick something else for a change?
It definitely feels more like this game definitely incorporated elements from Persona in regards to the dating sim and whatnot, but it definitely feels like instead of just simply taking it and slapping it there and saying done, they actually went, okay, so this is good, but what else can we do with this? Where else can we go?
Is it me, or is the ground shaking?
It's shaking. It's shaking a lot.
And that's what I like about this game, is that it goes from, you know, particularly just in the dating sim tradition, I guess, just choosing the right option for the right points and everything, and more going like, these two are already a couple, let's just give them multiple choice, and let's just see what happens. Here starts the first big, one of the big major objectives of the game. This is what kicks off the exploration.
It seems like it. Anything broken?
No, I don't think so. Well, except...
It's not all lost.
Well, it is. A bit.
Look, we can always search the islet, try and find a way to get to the other side.
Such as?
I don't know. A rope. A jetpack. Spring-loaded shoes. Anything.
And if we don't find it?
If we don't find... I don't know. That's why we'll have to find something.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what kicks off the exploration in the game.
Did I just feel you pinching my butt in passing?
How could I possibly achieve that?
I think I found something. Call me crazy, but this looks like a Bluton.
Yup, it looks like a flow bridge. kind of like the one we took to get here. But smaller?
Is that possible?
Why not? We still don't really know how the flow bridges work in space. But if the phenomenon can happen on a macro scale, then why not on this one? If there can be flow between two planets, why not two bits of a planet?
Okay. If this really is a flow bridge, I'm not sure what we're waiting for.
What?
Flow bridges are linking one place to another, right? So this one definitely leads someplace.
Wait, you want to just get on there without knowing where it goes?
It goes elsewhere. I think that's as good a start as any.
Alright, I think that's a good enough time. Pretty much, I might as well wrap around to where I started with this. At the beginning of the stream, I did say I had some exciting
Do
news
we have everyone? Okay.
and disappointing news.
Here.
Then we're good.
Looks like we're on another islet.
Yeah. The bridge seems to be a link between the islets. If there are any others like this, we may be able to get back to the nest.
So, like I was saying, earlier in the stream, I said that I had some exciting news and disappointing news.
Have you?
No, never. Must be an endemic species. I wonder if it's edible.
Only one way to find out.
Yes. I'll pick up some berries and run some tests. First, we'll need to observe any cutaneous reaction. Then we'll cook them to eliminate bacteria.
It's peppery.
You did not.
Go ahead. Try it.
Oh yeah, that is peppery.
Lightweight. Off we go. Let's pick these.
I'm not sure these will go great with the apple dews. Where there's a meal, there's a way.
You know what doesn't go great with apple dews? Apple dews.
But yeah, like I was saying, at the beginning of the game, or not the beginning of the game, beginning of the stream, I talked about how I had some exciting news and disappointing news. The exciting news, of course, was the fact that I got a new drawing tablet and that I've upgraded my system and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm going to be excited to run that. The disappointing news is what happened when I woke up yesterday and I was excited over the drawing tablet and whatnot. I stumbled across an email that, and I posted this on Twitter. I stumbled across an email that looked like a job interview. It looked like a game company had reached out to me and wanted to bring me on as an artist for a job interview. I was excited. But at the same time, I was also a bit skeptical because, like, I didn't really know how that all worked. Like, how do game companies necessarily like bring on people for like art positions and everything. I don't really know how that worked because I've never been offered a position like that. But I'll get to that later. So essentially, they were talking. There was this job posting out. They wanted to, they were looking for 2D, 3D artists and whatnot for like just for some positions, and they were saying like, so talk to this person on this phone app to get the job interview started. I double checked the company, and it's actually a legitimate company. It wasn't AAA, and it wasn't indie. It was somewhere in between. But I looked at it and it looked very legit, and I thought, I'll take a look into it. So I install the app. I go on there. I find the person they wanted me to find. I talk to them, and we started the interview. I answered stuff pretty honestly, and soon enough, it was a little odd, but considering the fact that my last job pretty much just hired me on through the phone pretty much after I called them, I wasn't really in a position to judge too much because like I had already had experience of calling up people and just getting the job. But the last time I did that, I found out that the only reason why they just kind of accepted me because they were in dire need of help, so they were willing to take any and everybody. So, but I do the interview. It goes relatively fine. And then at some point they say, we're willing to cover vision, dental, all the kinds of insurance, and we're willing to pay you $55 an hour. You can work Monday through Friday, however hours you choose and whatnot. And it sounded ultimately like a great deal. And then they were like, we'll send you a check for $2,400 so that you can get what you need in order to work remotely. Because the company is not stationed where I live, it's stationed in New York. And I didn't think twice about it because I didn't really know how working remotely helped. A lot of this stems from ignorance, not necessarily. It mainly just stems from ignorance. So, I didn't think twice about it. I did get the check, and they did deposit money. Soon after that, they asked me, hey, do you use all these other apps? And you're going to have to go through a special vendor in order to get these special items and whatnot for work. Do you have all these other apps? I said, no, I don't really do. And they kept talking about it, and they're wondering, and earlier they were even wondering, hey, do you have a printer you could use for the check? Hey, do you live near a store like Office Depot or anything? And at some point, this is around 7 at night. This is around the time when I started to actually say, you know what, I'll reschedule the stream, do it today. And around the time I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is a phishing scam. So, and then they asked, okay, so after they gave me the check, I was like, okay, so do you have a store near you can go by? And I lied to them and said that, yeah, I do have a store, but it closes in 5 minutes and it's 15 minutes away. And okay, we'll start this up tomorrow at 8 Central. And I'm like, okay. Soon after that, I recorded the whole conversation. I reported the emails I got sent, and I tagged the company that they were quote unquote posing as. Well, the company that they were posing as.
A big ugly lizard?
No, the mushrooms on its back. Looks like a type of Hygrocybe rubescens.
Ah, is that good news? Can we eat it?
Oof. Not at all, unless you're looking for a quick way to unload your kidneys. But don't you find that symbiosis amazing? The movements of the lizard are helping spread the spores. As far as what the lizard is gaining, I'll have to study that closer.
Yeah, but like I was saying, before I continue on, I want to get through this. So, after I found out what it actually was, I screen recorded the entire conversation, reported the emails, called up my bank, and I asked them to deactivate my card due to this whole thing. Got a new one. And when I was at the bank earlier today, because my bank is actually open on Saturdays for 5 hours, so that's nice. I really appreciate that. I went there, I got a new card, told them about what happened, and the lady who was working there pretty much took the mobile deposit since I hadn't even touched that money yet. The money that they sent me. I didn't touch that money yet, I didn't do anything, I didn't move it, it just stayed in my account. So, what she did was she took it off my available balance. It's still in my account, but I just can't spend that money. Not until Monday when the banks open up again, and they see that I had gone through, and they see that I had deposited a bad check, and they void it. So yeah, I was really disappointed because I actually thought it was going to be this whole big job opportunity, and looked legitimately legit. I even ran it by someone who I know works who I know at very least has ties to a game development company and knows about it and whatnot. And even they were like, yeah, this looks legit. But yeah, that's fucked up. And I asked him, like, okay, so, well, how do you get a job for working in game development? And it's like, oh, you go onto the website and apply. I'm like, okay, that makes much more sense. Yeah, but pretty much, I'm real glad I didn't do anything with that money. It just kind of stayed in my account, and I'm really glad I took it to my bank and whatnot, and asked them to deal with it, because I looked more into it, and apparently that money, I think, is apparently stolen. So, if I had gone any further in that, I'm pretty sure I would be arrested. So, I'm just real glad I got that I just got that taken care of, over and done with. I'm glad I didn't spend any of the money or anything, like, just, I'm real glad I caught that before it was way past the point of no return. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know. But pretty much, yeah, I was excited, but to find out that it was just kind of a farce for a phishing scam is just kind of, it disappointed me to the point where it's like, it was past the point where I had to stream, and I was like, I was tired and I was disappointed. I just didn't feel like streaming, so I was like, fuck it, I'll do this Saturday after I get all that done. And boom. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I don't really know if, I really hope that this is over and done with, but just in case, pretty much everything that happened in occurrence to this and related to this, I backed up on a flash drive, and I have that just in case people come, just in case authorities come up to my house and ask me, it's like, hey, did this happen to you? And yada yada yada. Like, just use that as evidence to back up my claims and whatnot. Hopefully this is dead. Hopefully that doesn't happen. This is just dead in the water and everything. This is all said and done. I just really want to be put past this. But yeah.
Maybe it has bad hygiene. Maybe what you call
I just wanted to get that off my chest and everything. It just I didn't really know what to do after all that.
We'd have to get a sample to.
Stop. Touch one of those mushrooms and you won't touch me again. Ever.
But yeah. So that's what happened in my life. But aside from that,
This is a pretty
I'm working on a new art piece. Well, 2 art pieces in particular. I'm working on a new project.
Seems like our mini flow bridge wasn't a unique occurrence.
Good. Because
I'm working on a new art project. Hopefully it's going to be coming out for June. But, I don't know.
wow. Actually, what is that?
We should take a closer look.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention. When I got my drawing tablet, the same day, my books on drawing poses, references, and templates, they arrived. So now, I have a better way to improve my art. I'm actually using one of the poses in I got one of these books for like how to draw characters using swords and whatnot, and I'm using one of the poses for my new piece. I won't give away anything, but it's going to be called The Spoils of War, and it's going to I intend to make it look badass. Hopefully it does.
Great. We can bring that back to the nest.
Any idea what's underneath our feet, Mrs. Geologist?
They kind of even changed. They added they added little changes here and there to the. There are little changes there to the dialogue. That's actually nice.
I'm a biologist.
Isn't that the same thing?
Biology, the living. Geology, the rocks.
And what makes you think this is not living, pray tell?
It looks like a dust deposition. Some kind of rust. And it looks like this kind of rust is particularly sensitive to flow.
What?
Look beneath your feet.
Oh, there's vegetation underneath. It was probably smothered.
Good thing we came this way.
That way. Look. It looks like the rust has formed into a bigger chunk.
So while there are like more... Okay, so enough talking about that. I want to talk more about this game specifically. While there are like... I've noticed this. While there are like various more interesting and unique ways in terms of art direction in order to take it, this game has one of the more easiest to spot examples. Particularly what you're seeing right now, if you don't know. This is a good example of art direction. That rust, it's black, it's different, it's like light and dark shades of red and purples.
It could always be useful. Another flow bridge.
That's great.
The characters
the others. If we're
have
lucky,
more
they'll
of
bring
these,
us back to the nest.
Are enveloped in these blue lights and travel with blue streams. Like, you can definitely tell like what more you're supposed to target in the game as your objective, and more what more can aid you essentially.
Even the apple juice shrubs are completely covered.
I hope this one will yield some nice and juicy fruit to thank us.
Hey Sozo. Hey Silent Flight. So like I was saying, like with this game, it's very much easy to. It's like it's a prime example of like the easiest way to pick out art direction, because it's very obvious. Like some games have more subtle or complex ways of telling the art direction. This game is a lot more simpler.
That's it. That was the last one.
Clearly, we're breathing a lot easier without all this rust.
The rust is the stuff that you have to clear away, and you can tell by the red and black splotches scattered throughout each island. Whereas the blue is supposed to represent, like, flow, and that's your source of energy, and that's what you use to get around and everything. One of the more easier examples.
We should find the nest if we keep going north.
Explain to me how you know which way north is on this planet?
We should find the nest if we keep going straight ahead.
Thank you.
So to those just joining, if you haven't heard me earlier talk about like Haven is the way that this game was described is interesting, because it was like the creators apparently described it as Journey meets Persona. Essentially taking elements from Journey, which is more of the exploration and whatnot, and elements from Persona, which is more of the JRPG and dating sim elements, and combining them. But the difference between this, like, I said this already, but I said this previously, but the only other game I've heard using Persona as more kind of a comparison of sorts, essentially, is Yandere Simulator. The difference between that and Haven is that I definitely think Haven is a much better passion project. Because with Haven, like, even without me saying that, you know, like, that little bit of information that Journey and Persona were definitely more of a big influence on this game.
What are they?
You've never heard of boba nuts? They're one of the most nutritious nuts. 25% carbohydrates, 50% protein, 75% lipids.
But yeah, like I was saying, like, even though, like, even without me telling you that Journey and Persona were big influences on this game, like, this game takes it in such interesting directions. Like, the dating sim elements of Persona are better explored. The game is not about building up a friendship into being this whole romance. No, you start out as two lovers on an abandoned planet, just exploring, and the whole thing is about making the relationship much stronger. And I think that's interesting.
That adds up to 150%.
Because the whole game is centered around their dialogue and their conversations.
You're pulling my leg,
you understand
aren't
their
you?
personalities, you understand their likes and dislikes, you understand their characters far better. And I really love it.
I got a big one.
Whereas with Journey, much of it was definitely like, if you play Journey, you know what I'm talking about in terms of like the exploration.
All clean.
And there are definitely parts of it I can definitely tell where it's like, yeah, this was definitely inspired by, or this part was definitely inspired by Journey. But other parts I can tell you, it's like, okay, this is very different. Like, it might look inspired, but it goes in its own direction. That's what I like. Whereas, even though I brought up Yandere Simulator earlier, whereas with Yandere Simulator, it feels more cut and paste. Like, when I was playing it, it felt more cut and paste, and
What was that noise?
Ugh, my stomach. It needs to be fed soon.
I'd say the one major, like, I have a number of issues with Yandere Simulator as a game, but I think one major issue in particular is the more of the deceptive illusion of choice.
I thought this planet was supposed to be a desert.
Deserted, not a desert. According to the archives, a colonization plan had been considered by the apiary, with Exonova as the main provider. But the planet was eventually classified as inhospitable.
Let me guess. High seismic activity?
I don't know. The file doesn't say anything about that.
I hope we don't have any more unpleasant surprises.
Yeah. Like I was saying, what I don't like about a game like Yandere Simulator is the deception of choice. Like, you take a game like this, for example. You can choose to explore through the game and discover all these different islets and whatnot. You get to discover all these cool locations and try to clear all this rust out and whatnot. Or you can just choose to stay at the nest and just hang out and whatnot. Or you could just choose to just go out and get food. Like, you have all these different choices. You don't necessarily have to just do the story specifically. You can just go out and do all this other stuff. And that's what I like about it. With Yandere Simulator, it feels like if you play any other way other than essentially what how the creator wants you to play,
Whoa.
it feels like it's punishing. And that's what I don't like about a game like Yandere Simulator.
You can make a rock fly with the right tools.
Is that it takes elements from games that definitely encourage
Both wings are wasted.
the
propellers were ripped off.
the matter of choice
I'm not even done
in terms of
checking the
gameplay.
inside.
And
we weren't really planning on leaving.
it sort of just smacks you in the
Don't
face
really
for
have
trying
another place
to
go anyway.
go with that, and I
I'm
hate
tired. Why are we always so unlucky? Why are you laughing?
Hold on. We decided to escape the apiary, which apparently no one has managed to do before us. We punch in some coordinates really at random, only because some obscure document from Exonova vaguely attested to the existence of a habitable planet. By some kind of miracle, we cross the boundaries of the apiary without getting caught. We travel across space in a Class D ship that is totally not designed for that. And in spite of the fact that this is not all terrain, we land without breaking anything. We find food and flow on site, even though we hadn't really planned for it. Finally, we get hit with an earthquake, all right. But we get out of it unscathed. The only real consequence is that the nest is a little bit busted. And you think that we're unlucky? We are the luckiest people in the universe.
That's one way to see it.
This planet is our chance to start a new life, with our own rules. Away from the apiary, from the matchmaker, and all that loot. And I'd rather endure 1,000 earthquakes than risk being away from you.
What did you say this planet was called again?
Source.
Source. The beginning of something.
Seems like it.
That right there is a big highlight as to why I love this game, is that their chemistry is very good. Like, back on when I was talking about with how this game definitely takes, like, Persona's dating sim elements, the difference between this and Persona is that both characters can talk, but also is that when it comes to the multiple choice options, it kind of goes down the Telltale Games route, where it has, like, multiple choice options, but there's also, like, all these other, but there's also, like, not all these other, but there's also, like, a particular script it follows. So if you go for this particular option, then there's scripted dialogue that prompts instead of just going, like, hey, you pick this option and then that's it. Like, I like that. It also really just kind of helps form these characters as giving them more personality, like them being given dialogue to actual dialogue and scripts and whatnot. Even with the multiple choice options, it helps give them more of a personality, and I love it. Like, and that's kind of something I do criticize about Persona, is that when it comes to the protagonist, they're very much a blank slate. Like, I know, like, I know people will argue with me and say, well, they're actually this, and that. Well, not necessarily.
And now
because
the nest is all akimbo.
If you're talking about,
weird.
like, media around it, like the anime or the manga.
But it can wait until tomorrow. I think we've had our share for the day. We deserve some time to relax. If you know what I mean.
You can do whatever you want, but I am going to bed.
I'll get to something interesting about this game in a sec, but in regards to, like, Persona, when you look at, like, the protagonist in Persona, right? The protagonist, unless you're talking about specifically the unless you're talking about specifically, like, the game or the manga, the protagonists in Persona are very much blank slates. Like, they don't really ever talk. They don't really. There isn't moments where it's like they show any really other personality other than the personality that you choose for them. That's not something I particularly like out of Persona. I kind of wish that they would kind of build on that more, kind of go further than just making the character more this blank slate. But yeah. But also, an interesting thing about the game, even though the characters in this playthrough are two women, previously, the main characters were a guy and a girl. What's interesting is that more recently they had an update where you could play as same-sex couples, and that's what I'm playing through this first.
You? Wake up!
So you get to choose as playing it how it initially was, with a guy and a girl, or you could play as two girls or two guys. Whatever floats your boat.
That was just a nightmare. Everything's fine.
It really adds to the choice of love. It really adds to the whole choice aspect of love in this whole game.
No! I was awake. I could hear you. I just couldn't move or yell. I couldn't breathe. It was horrible.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
For real?
It used to happen when I was a teenager. You feel something weighing on your stomach?
Yeah. On my chest. What was it?
I don't know. I used to call it the ball, because sometimes it felt like a huge ball was crushing me.
Oh. No, that didn't happen to me.
I wouldn't wish it upon you. For me, it resolved itself when I left the foster home. For you, it may be related to the nest.
But I don't want to leave the nest.
That's not what I meant. You're stuck to the bed. The nest is stuck to the ground. There must be something in that. You've been flying in this thing for years. I bet you're upset to see it in this condition.
Huh. No kidding. Which means that if we fix up the nest, this'll all go away?
Could be. Worst case scenario, the nest will be fixed.
Yeah. Well, I hope we'll eventually find the missing parts then, so I can get fixed up too.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this game is that in terms of like, there are JRPG elements that are going to be incorporated later. Not right now, but an interesting thing throughout this game is that double helix symbol, and that bar exploding.
All right.
That is
now we can see a lot clearer.
Yeah.
how you
We're
can
not there yet, but
level up
that
in this
should do
game.
the
That's
trick
your
for now.
form of experience.
Now we just need to figure out how to level the nest. The tractoglobe is probably done charging. Let's bring it outside.
Now
Do
there
you
are
think that will be enough to lift it?
I hope so, because I have no idea what else we can do.
Now, interestingly enough, like, while in terms of experience, like, yeah, in this game you can definitely just go out and fight enemies
What
and
if we
everything.
grabbed a little snack for the road?
Huh. Sounds good. I'll bring the first aid kit as well, just in case.
But yeah, interesting. Like, in terms of getting EXP throughout this game, what's interesting is that, yeah, I can go and fight enemies and have all this co-op and whatnot, and yeah, that can give me EXP, but the best way to get EXP in this game is to essentially have the characters U and K have conversations with one another. Which says to me the biggest way to essentially get stronger in this game is to, well, strengthen the relationship between the two.
Did it move?
No, I don't think so.
Bulging bloot! Oh, it's over. It's not going back straight. We'll never be able to fix it. We are condemned to living on an incline in a broken ship forever, until our body adapts and one of our legs starts shrinking to even us out.
What's the issue exactly?
Well, the back pain will be crazy, for one. And also, I don't know about you, but I personally like having a reasonably symmetrical body.
I meant with the tractoglobe.
Ah, not enough power, it seems like. The battery drains out even before lifting the nest a centimeter off the ground. Although, to be fair, it was originally designed to lift cargo crates into ships, not the ships themselves.
What if we plugged it into a flow spring?
I thought about that, but we'd have to be able to seal the pipe shut. Unfortunately, I don't think they make gaskets for flow springs from a distant planet.
Perhaps we could make one.
With what? Paper mache?
Remember yesterday when I told you that rust scatters when it comes in contact with flow? We could use that feature to bend it into shape.
You could do that?
I don't think I could sculpt a nude statue of you or a super complex component.
Okay, that,
But molding a gasket? That seems doable.
That's awesome!
Hold on. Let's not start pushing before the panties are pulled down.
Excuse me?
You've never heard of that saying?
No.
Must be a truth thing then. That means let's not celebrate before we...
Yeah. I got it. Anyway, how much rust do you need in order to pull the panties down?
I don't know. 4 or 5 blocks like those we already got?
Okay, so let's try and find that.
I think we've got everything we need to mold a joint for the tractoglobe. All right then. Ready when you are.
I'm just waiting on you. I can't wait to get going. You know, you can use these boots for drifting. It makes faster turns.
Sorry. I'm still not completely used to this model. It fits. That's a good sign. Let's get this ball rolling. What? Haven't you heard of that one either?
Oh no, I have. It's just a really old-fashioned saying.
Let's get the show on the road.
Okay, that's worse.
Can you just switch on the Tractoglobe, please?
Okay. We did it! Now, we just need to fix up the wings, and the turbine, and the hypopropellers, and...
Don't be so cynical. Getting the nest out of the crevasse was quite a feat.
Huh? No, don't get me wrong. I am genuinely delighted. I love fixing things up. But I don't think we need to get started right away.
That's a relief.
Alright. So the majority of this game's story centers around, well, U and K, but it also centers around fixing up the ship. And pretty much that takes up the whole game. Like, you can't actually beat the game without actually completing repairs on the ship. It's actually impossible to beat the game without completing
Not
repairs.
for long. Okay, now I'm really starving.
Imagine how I feel.
Okay, so let's see.
I have a good one. Be careful. These creatures don't seem to
So
be
this
on
is
their
where the
right mind.
JRPG
I
elements
did
come in.
notice that.
So what's interesting
Alright, that's it.
is that this is kind of where the co-op elements come into play.
Alright, that's it. Great job.
You're welcome.
Where you can play as,
Nice shot.
where if you're playing as someone else, if you're playing with another person,
This one
Mike, settle down.
this part of the
Now's
game
the time.
is where you can actually take control, have
get it
both of
over
you
with.
take control of
And
your
done.
character.
we make a good team.
And you can get experience through
And
doing
now
that,
it's
but
back to being
the best way to do it is
Seems like
by
it was the
by
rust that made
strengthening
him
the
aggressive.
relationship between you and Kay.
I'd do the same if I were them.
What?
Think about it this way. You wake up in the morning with a rash covering your body. If you scratch it, it gets worse. If you don't scratch it, it still gets worse. Of course you're gonna lash out first chance you get.
I don't think this is the same thing.
Of course it is. Tell her Oink. Tell Kay that I'm right. Oink. His name is Oink now.
But yeah, I usually play this first player because I don't have a girlfriend. But even first player, it actually is interesting because it's interesting because like the further you go throughout this game, the more different kinds of enemies you'll find, and the more strengths and weaknesses that they have. Like some enemies will be weak to just taking a punch to the face, but some enemies will be stronger to that, but they'll also be, but they'll be more, weak to getting hit in the face with a blast of flow. Like, there are different combinations you can have, including that enemies can end up being faster than your reaction time when it comes to combat, so you also have a shield.
What does she want from us? You bet I do. Bullseye. Okay. You're safe. Nice.
So when the enemies attack you,
Got it.
while you're not shielded,
Okay.
the other person who's shielded up can actually manage to...
I'll keep them at bay. One down.
Well, except when that happens. The other person who's shielded can actually manage to protect you while
This one's
charging
mine.
an
In your
attack.
face. Oh no. Nice one. You. Blammo. You? Yep. Saw that. Target locked. That didn't seem to bother him much. Aha!
I don't even think he thought that.
You didn't like that too much.
Let's get it over with.
And done.
We're that good.
So yeah, like, it's an interesting combat system. And yeah, there are ways to like tell like how much health you got, but one of the biggest giveaway is the suits. So when you have relatively like you're at full health or relatively got a good amount of health, the suits will glow blue. But if you've got more like if your health is in the middle range, it'll glow yellow, and
I
if
don't
you're
like
on low
walking.
health, you'll have
Some
red.
things are worse than walking.
So
Like
it's
That's
color is a good way to tell.
I can't
what-
even remember the last time I ran.
Thank you, technology.
That was a good way to tell which is tell just more or less how fucked you'll be. Aside from that, like again, there's going to be different enemies to come across that are like that are I think more or less I'm done. I think I just need to... Oh, no, not yet. But yeah, pretty much there are going to be different enemies that come across, and a lot of the enemies will be
Huh.
Why'd you stop?
I have a stowaway
Will
on
be
my
much more tougher.
sleeve.
A bug?
Better. A seed. It must have hooked on when we brushed past the plant.
And it just so happens it chose the one with the green thumb. Clever seed.
Natural selection doing its work.
Do you think you're gonna plant it?
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't even know why I asked.
If we find enough of them, we could start a little vegetable patch at the nest.
I vote yes.
Motion approved. Unanimously. Just need to find some more seeds.
Easy enough, don't you think?
Not so sure. If these plants have few natural predators, they might have somewhat of a slow reproductive process. We'll just need to keep an eye out.
You can count on me. What?
Nothing. I just can't imagine you spotting seeds right out of the wilderness.
Says the chick who's incapable of finding her stuff when it's right under her nose.
That's not the same. I mean, plants are kind of my specialty.
So? I know what a seed looks like, don't I?
Certainly.
I'm sure I'll find more than you.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Wanna bet?
Don't tempt me.
And this starts the
Thought it
game.
smelled good around here.
Throughout the game, pretty much, whether or not you like U or K,
It's much nicer
or
this way.
like if you come across like particular plants and everything,
Whew.
when you come across
We
particular
lost him.
plants and food, sometimes you'll get a heads up that says like, "Hey, you found a seed," and that starts a little bit of conversation. Okay. So, let's see here. This would be so much easier if I had the nav. Like, because I can't actually see where the fuck I'm going, so I'm just kind of going blindly. But that said, even without the nav, I did figure out a few things, even when I'm going blindly. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I think I mentioned this earlier.
They're tailing us. Boom.
Oh, come on!
Take that. This bam. Bullseye.
Make way! Let's get it over with.
And done.
We may need to change our strategy.
Are you done and done?
One to go. This one's mine. Now what?
Dodge this one.
Okay, so he hates this. Lambo.
Booyah!
You're safe.
No way. Aha!
This one's mine. You?
Yep. Saw that. Your turn.
Yep. Well done. The end.
So, like I was gonna say, any loading screen that comes up, the art is actually made by an artist I follow on Twitter. They actually got hired on as a they actually got hired on for art in this game.
Do you see what I'm seeing?
What?
Straight ahead. An aerial flow thread.
Oh, yeah. Do you think it could carry us all the way up there?
Only one way to find out.
Not yet, I believe. Nope.
Seems like that's the highest we'll get.
That wasn't too far off. Look, there's another bridge over there.
Ugh, I wanted to go all the way up.
We'll have to lay off the apple juice then.
I believe the artist who does a lot of the loading artwork and work that I used to come across in this game is, I believe it's pronounced Koyori.
It wouldn't work.
But the art is very much noticeable if you know who it is. Like the portraits of you and Kay are done by them, I believe.
I guess they knew what they were doing. Having worked for them, I can tell you they don't just throw money around.
Knowing my mom, I'm not surprised. Still though, it shouldn't take years of research and observation to realize that this planet is scattered around like a jigsaw puzzle. You don't just see this and think, ooh, this place is nice. We should settle it.
That's what we did.
But we didn't have much of a choice. Why did my mom never mention any of this to me? I don't think Exanova wins colonization contracts on the regular.
These buildings look kind of old. Your mom may not have been head of the company then. She may not have been with the company at all.
Yeah, that's possible. Still, it's weird.
Agreed. I guess we'll figure it out eventually.
Loot! Booyah!
Let's get it over with.
I got your back.
You! One down.
Aha!
Make way!
Boom!
Oh!
Ooh, that looks bad.
Eat it! In your...
Take that!
Make way!
This one's ready.
He's right for the picking.
Harvest time.
Red.
We're on fire. Now shoot.
We're that good. another seed. 2-0 is a pretty good start.
Hey, the first one didn't count.
What? Why didn't it count?
We hadn't started the contest.
Okay, 1-0. But that's only because I know I'll win.
And that is exactly what will cause your downfall. Okay, that's kind of cool.
You mean really cool? This one? Pow!
Cover me. Are you okay?
Go, girl!
Hey, that's cheating.
Make way! Yeehaw!
Take that. Booyah!
This one,
You know what to boom, baby.
make way! Pow!
Now,
Let's do this.
there you go. That's how we rock.
I think. Hang on. No. There we go. I think that worked. I don't know. Okay, so let's see.
Another bit of rust for your collection?
Oh, cool. I don't have this one yet.
Sharp turn. Another one. Are you following?
Why wouldn't I?
That was the last one.
Alright, nice. Okay, so.
We're too heavy.
Nah, this aerial thread is just too fragile.
I think if I recall correctly, it was up here. Yep.
Did we miss, or did it break?
It broke.
Okay. Ah! So we finally get to a camp. Oh. Somehow got off track. Go back. Okay.
Did you feel that?
What?
Like a tremor.
No, I wasn't paying attention.
I hope I imagined it.
Zip into the back. And more rust.
You can never have too much. Should we take a break?
Indeed. If you told me one day I'd be millions of lumsec from the apiary watching rocks flying by,
Beautiful, isn't it?
I'd say intriguing. I'm trying to figure out how it works.
I'm pretty sure you don't know how nucleosynthesis works either. But you can still appreciate the stars in the sky.
That's true. It could be worse.
Yeah. Actually, this is all thanks to the matchmaker.
What?
Think about it. Imagine the matchmaker had put us together. We would have spent our boring lives in the apiary without surprise. And we would have never ended up here, together, watching rocks flying by.
I don't care about these rocks. All I care about is being with you. Here, in the apiary, in deep space, or at the bottom of a hole. It's all the same to me. It's all decorative.
Some decor a bit nicer than others, though.
Yeah, but that's... what's that phrase you use in sciences? Oh yeah, negligible amounts.
To nothing.
Okay, beginner's luck. But watch out. It won't last.
I will say, definitely, like, Source is definitely a very unique
And 3.
world.
You are not even letting me take a look.
On top of that, like, the visuals alone. Like, I love the reflection of the water, just the texture, how it looks. Just looks very beautiful. Also, it is just, no matter how many times I play this, it will never not be fun just floating above water. I don't care what anyone says, that's just fucking fun.
We almost missed this one. Do we agree this thing does not look very natural?
Yeah, it's probably satellite debris or a rocket propeller. This part of space is a real dump.
I don't know. This stone circle around it still looks weird to me.
This? These aren't stones. They're Bryum's Mollis Mollis. Bloofs for short.
Bloofs?
Yeah, because when you sit on them, it goes...
Ooh, I like.
Oh.
Huh.
I think I could fall asleep right here. You?
Jeez, way ahead of you.
You?
Who? What? I told you I'm not going back. Go bloot yourselves!
You. It's me. I think you fell asleep.
Oh, sorry.
I just love the fact that
bloofs are
Bloot
way
is their
too
version of,
comfortable.
like, a swear
You
for
can't
just
leave
about
me here.
anything.
If we ever need to sleep under the stars, we'll know where to come. If that doesn't get us back to full form, I don't know what will.
You know what we should have packed?
A card game?
My guitar.
You have a guitar?
Well, yeah.
Where is it?
At my house. On top. Well, I guess these days I can't really call it my house. Or even say it's my guitar.
I didn't know that you played.
To be honest, I wouldn't really say that I play. My mother's had me take courses when I was little. I took them for 2 years and then I got tired. I never touched it again. I even called it an old-timey instrument. But I don't know. Now, with the campfire and everything, I wish I could pull it out.
I would have played along on the harmonica.
Because you play the harmonica?
No. But since we're imagining things, let's just run with it.
Yeah, you're right. I can already picture it.
We could have founded a band!
The #1 band on Source.
A Yuki! It's an anagram of U and K.
Yeah, I got that. I was thinking more along the lines of Oink and his orchestra.
Oh, Oink is in the band too?
Of course, on vocals.
Of course. Why not? The Weavers.
Ooh, not bad. Dual flow.
Acrocillin Blues.
Where the heart is.
A mare.
Apple Dew Stew.
Oh yeah, I definitely like that.
We are so Apple Juice Stew now. We'll bring the house down.
We just need to find stuff to repair the nest now.
We just need to?
Believe this is the right way.
Sorry, I kind of missed my U-turn.
We'll do better next time.
Did I just see that thing eat up a flow thread?
Sure did. That's probably why these creatures don't seem affected by the rust.
Good for them. But I hope they're sparing some for others. Us, namely.
Still need rust?
Of course. It's always useful.
Eat that! Go, girl!
Oh, this one's ready.
Yep.
Aha!
One down. Ugh, are you all right? You started it.
Eat it! Target locked.
Keep them coming.
Oh no.
See you around.
One left.
That'll teach them. Oh, Blue! He's ripe for the picking.
Harvest time.
Let's get it over with.
And done. That's how we rock.
Whoa. I'm not sure what his toy did to him, but I wouldn't like to be in its place.
Hold on. Isn't that...
What?
Let's get a closer look.
Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Okay?
What did I tell you?
Shielding, he's too impervious.
We should coordinate our attacks.
You're safe. Alright, same attack on 3. 3! Ready when you are.
All set. I think we found the right technique. Ready?
Now! Ha! I'm sure he felt that. Shield up! Ugh. Are you okay? Ready when you are.
Ready?
You want some more?
On your mark.
Now! Booyah! Missed!
We should
He's too impervious.
coordinate our attacks.
Eat it! I'll keep them at bay. Ready when you are.
All set.
Aha! I got your back.
Lammo. It seems like my attacks aren't landing.
Maybe if we both attacked at the same time. You know what to do.
I'm on it.
You? Yep. Saw that. Kapow! Who's next? That was easy.
He left his toy behind.
That's not a toy. Looks like
A robot?
almost. It's a Draka. Drone for autonomous cartography. Very old tech. The kind we sent out to Beauty before it was integrated to the
So I believe this
apiary.
is where we get the map.
Seems like they pondered integrating Source for a while as well. I wonder why they changed their minds.
Could be the fact that this planet is scattered like a puzzle.
Probably was a factor. The Draka may hold some answers.
You're kidding.
No, really. Stuff from that era was built tough. We may be able to boot it back up. Okay. I might have spoken a bit quickly. The flow circuits are completely fried. But look at what I was able to salvage. The anti-grav chips don't seem to be damaged. I should be able to make them compatible with our boots by tweaking the connectors a bit.
Whoa.
Even better, the mapping module is also working perfectly.
Now we have a
Plug that
map.
into the glove's power source. It should... Boom! This should be very helpful for finding our way around the bits of land.
You never cease to impress me.
That's nothing really. These old machines are plain and simple astronautical engineering, not like the new stuff with boronic nano components everywhere.
So that way we can map out the different bits?
Yeah, and with this, we can make our way back to the nest a lot easier. Hey, look! It says there's another bridge in this area.
Perfect. That way we can test if your thingy works.
Are you okay? Enjoying the view?
On your mark.
Go, go, go! This one's ready.
I got this. Are you all right?
Great job.
You're welcome. You.
Ready when you are.
Ready?
You know what to do.
Yep. Well done.
Cover me.
Eat that.
Boom, baby!
Chill. Let's get it up. You?
Yep, saw that. Who's next?
Right on. Seems like the radar is working.
Are you surprised?
On your mark.
Anytime. Your turn.
On it! You!
You bet I do. Not feeling so good.
Blammo!
Boom! Bam! Ooh.
Yeehaw!
You stop. You know what?
Now what? You're safe!
Bye-bye.
One to go.
Are you okay? Your turn.
I got this.
This one's ready.
I'm on it.
There you go.
We make a good team. Are you okay?
Ugh. You know, I am starting to get tired of being beat up by every critter that comes around.
Should I carry you?
No, that's fine. I can walk on my own. Although if you have some heavy-duty pain meds, I wouldn't turn them down.
All right. I guess it's time for me to do what I do best.
Snuggle?
I was more thinking about gathering strange plants with medicinal properties.
We already have some medic kits.
Oh yeah, we do. Then I guess we just need to find a place to lay low and care for your injuries.
There is an interesting thing, though, about what she said. Let's see if it pops up. Yep.
How do you feel?
Better.
Them actually kissing actually restores a little bit of health.
This is weird.
What is?
It looks like there's also a pre-recorded location on the radar.
What could it be?
I don't know. Little Draco's favorite picnic spot?
In that case, we definitely have to check it out.
Here it is.
Come on, give me your boots. Once
I can barely figure out left from right as they are.
I am gonna kill them. I swear I am gonna kill them.
Are you sure you don't want to take a break? Get some fresh air?
No! These looting anti-grav chips aren't the boss of me.
I still don't understand what the problem is.
The problem is, there is such a thing as a standard, and the Borons who designed this drone thought it might be fun to improve this standard. Except, if you take a standard and improve upon it, you get
2 standards?
0 standard. And so now, it looks like I have to machine these boron chips, just so they can fit in these looting boots.
Anything I can do to help?
No, I'm okay. I'm done. Well, yeah, when you have the right tools.
I mean, since you were complaining, I was thinking that it would take a while.
It's a matter of principle. Let's go. We'll see if these work outside. Ready to test these bad boys?
I guess. What are we doing?
Okay, follow the thread as usual, except this time, we should be able to make it till the end.
That's awesome!
You've traveled across space, but floating a few feet above the ground is awesome?
Awesome.
Hey, isn't that Oink? That is definitely him. That's Oink.
What's happening, big guy? Why are you here? You missed us, didn't you?
I bet he felt lonely on his empty islet.
You do realize that we can't take you along on our journeys, don't you? That would be too exhausting for you.
But you can stay with us next to the nest if you want.
No funny business, though.
All right, give me those medical plants of yours. Time to fire up the synthesizer. With this thing, we'll be right back on our feet.
Are you sure you know how?
I have a synthesizer in my ship. Of course I know how these work.
No, wait, that's not the way.
I know what I'm doing.
Really? Because at this stage, you should.
Ugh! Look, I've always done it this way, and it's always worked out. You're not gonna tell me how to use my own synthesizer.
All right. All right. As you wish.
Haha! There! What do you say about that?
All right. I didn't know you could also do it that way.
And?
Sorry I doubted you.
And?
I love you?
Okay, that's not what I was expecting, but it'll do. All right, you can open your eyes. Surprise anniversary!
Huh?
I meant to say surprise, and then I thought, happy anniversary. I panicked.
Whose anniversary is it?
It's our anniversary. 1 month on Source.
Only a month?
What? Are you saying I'm boring company?
No, don't be silly. It's just that the day we crashed here seems so distant. We've done so many things, learned so much. I feel like I've lived more in 1 month here than I did all those years in the apiary.
Oh yeah, I feel the same. So, are you gonna open your present? Well, our present.
Sure, sure. Uh-huh. What is it?
Fermented apple juice. I stuck them in the soaker tub to accelerate the process. I'm calling it Apple Brew.
Do you think that it's any good?
Well, worst case scenario, we just wasted some apple juice. No big deal.
Should we open it now?
We can open it whenever you want.
To us.
To us. Hey, that's really good actually.
Really strong, too. Do you remember the first time you talked about leaving the apiary?
Of course. I'd had a shouting match with my mom. I was just angry.
No, before that.
Before?
We landed the nest on a hilltop, we were stargazing, and you said, "Come on, let's go." I haven't stopped thinking about it since that day. I think that's what pushed me to dig into the Astro Company archives, which led me to find the coordinates of Source. I wanted to be ready for the day.
Wait, when was that?
I don't remember. Right at the beginning, you and your mom got in a fight. You hopped into the nest at night, and you picked me up at my house.
Was that when we went to the uplands?
Yes, the uplands. That's it.
Oh, Flute, I remember. It was in Frocember. It was super cold out. I was freezing. I just wanted to get back into the nest. That's why I said, let's go. And since you didn't respond, I thought you wanted to stay outside. So I didn't push it. I actually caught a beast of a cold that night.
Wait, so that means if I hadn't misunderstood that night...
It wouldn't have changed a thing.
Well, still, that means we would never have known about Source. We would have never come all the way here.
I'm not buying your story.
Huh?
Why were we stargazing that night? You spent the entire night pointing out this and that constellation to me, wondering if there might be other inhabitable planets outside of the apiary. Other forms of life? You were completely obsessed with the sky. I was even trying to open up about my issues, but you barely listened. And off you went again, chattering about the comets, the microorganisms, or whatever. So, keeping in mind that you had access to this data about Source, and the fact that you are Kay, do you really think you would have never stumbled upon this planet anyway?
You might be right. Was I really that annoying?
Yes. I came to see you that night because I needed someone. I had nowhere else to go. But at the time, I regretted it. I was actually thinking it would be the last time we saw one another. But you insisted. And the following week, you came to see me in the evening with your little homemade cookies. We chatted all night, and I do believe that is when I fell in love.
Really? The cookies? That's what made you fall in love?
In my defense, they were some excellent cookies. But no, idiot, it wasn't the cookies. It was the thoughtfulness. I was sick, my nose was all swollen, croaking voice. I was a mess. And you just showed up, without me asking. I'd only known you for barely 3 weeks. You took care of me. You baked me some cookies. You stayed and chatted all night, even though it was pretty clear nothing would happen. And you kept on making me laugh, even though it hurt every time I laughed. I hated you.
What was it? Did you fall in love, or did you hate me?
Well, they're not mutually exclusive. Kinda like salty sweet.
Here, give me a taste.
Honestly, I enjoy the conversations that they have. It's nice to hear. Like, it's nice to hear, like, more of the different personalities
And
just
done.
hearing a lot about their
It's
lives
all straightened
before
out.
coming here.
Everything's tidy and clean.
Besides us, that is.
Yeah, we are kinda stinky. Off to the shower then?
Ah, Bloot.
What is it?
I just mopped the bathroom.
Oh.
Honestly, can do.
You?
Yeah?
I see you brushed your hair in the shower again.
How can you tell?
It's not draining.
Sorry. So, what's this rocky chunk got to say?
Well, for starters, it says it's not a rock.
Really? What is it then? Some kind of metal?
No, it's not mineral or organic.
So, what is it?
Going straight to the hard questions. But that is not how science works.
How does it work then?
First of all, you formulate a hypothesis. Then you build an experiment to test this hypothesis.
You observe, and you learn.
Okay, then what have you learned?
That I'm lacking imagination regarding hypotheses? One thing we know for sure is that rust particles scatter immediately when in contact with flow. I'd like to observe this reaction more closely.
You can do that next time. Right now, you should go to bed.
Already? What time is it?
No idea, but I know I'm sleepy. And I want my snuggles before I crash.
Gotcha.
Alright. I think ultimately that's a good place to stop. Like, I don't know, it's like, we got a pretty decent amount of time throughout this game. There's more to explore. I know there's more to explore and there's more to look at and everything, but save it for another time, honestly. But in the grand scheme of things, yeah. I think I'll do it. So thank you all so much for joining me, if you joined me during this or if you joined me after the fact. But if you like this content, please feel free to subscribe. If you want to keep in touch and check out whenever I'm streaming again, check me out on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. If you want to check out my portfolio, because I am an artist after all, check out my Artstation. If you want to see me stream after May, because I'm gonna be, as after May I'm moving into my second channel to stream there, check out my second channel. All the links are in the description below. If you want to support me financially, if you have the means to, check out my Ko-Fi. I would heavily appreciate it. Every donation towards me gets me closer and closer to being able to make art full time, and that is my passion. That's my dream. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time when we explore more of Source and play through more of Haven. So thank you all for watching, whether or not you watched currently or whether or not you're watching this in the future. But thank you all so much for joining. Peace.